Welcome, families, to our fall informational presentation of gifted services at Gunston Middle School. My name is Joanna Washington, and I am the Advanced Academics Coach here at Gunston. If you have any questions during this presentation, please use the QR code here. You can scan that and open the Google form where you can enter any of your questions, and I can get back to you with those answers. My objectives for today are to provide an overview of gifted services at Gunston Middle School and explain my role as an advanced academic coach. Now, these are just some recommendations from the National Association of Gifted Children. They say that schools should provide curricular resources designed for gifted learners. We should have professional development for all teachers, where teachers are learning about the needs of our gifted learners, learning how to differentiate and to create flexible grouping. And we should also have, or the recommendation is to have a resource specialist who can support the classroom teacher in all of these things. Just as the NAGC, or National Association for Gifted Children, has recommendations, we also have some state regulations. And the Virginia Department of Education state that each school district must develop a plan to identify and provide services to those students who have learning needs beyond the regular instructional program. If you would like to see this plan, you can find this on the APS website underneath Advanced Academics. APS uses a talent development model as well as a Young Scholars model. This diagram just shows the building blocks of our program. It starts at the bottom. The foundation begins with the district support, and you can see the support there. The district core elements are commitment, service and curriculum, stakeholder support, and evaluation of our program effectiveness. Through this support, this helped me as an advanced academics coach and also the school in providing our cluster teachers the professional learning opportunities, coaching and collaboration, and our cluster groups to ensure differentiation within the classroom. The cluster teacher or the intensified teacher is responsible for the delivery of the resources for rigor with the assistance of the advanced academics coach. Now let's look at our professional learning communities. Our professional learning communities are the umbrella structure for the school system in meeting the needs of our students. Collaborative learning teams, or CLTs, are within each school to do this strategically. They use a variety of data points throughout the year and these 4 questions to plan for instruction. As they are planning for instruction, the first 3 questions they discuss as a group, but the 4th question is where I come in, and that is my focus. How will we extend learning when they already know it or learn it quickly? My role within the CLT or PLC is to increase teachers' capacities in these 3 areas, to infuse the gifted pedagogy within their classrooms daily for differentiation, to utilize our rigorous resources that are available, and to use our critical and creative thinking strategies to challenge and engage all of their learners. In addition, my role also includes professional learning communities where I support teachers in documenting growth, help them in understanding the unique characteristics of our gifted learners, and I'm also responsible for the screening and identification process. AACs, or Advanced Academic Coaches. In addition, my role involves advocating for our underserved populations. And here are some topics if you wanted to read up a little more about this on the National Association for Gifted Children website. Let's look at our twice exceptional student. Our twice exceptional students are those students with an IEP or a SPED student, those with a 504 plan, or our English learners. Well, these students should be granted equitable access to rigorous classes just as other students who are identified as gifted. We all work together in providing services to these students. The special education teacher will provide services for their disability. I work with the classroom teacher to provide services for rigor within their lessons. This process is really the same for our English learner in their support. And this process is really the same for our English learners. I provide support with the L teacher and classroom teacher. Let's look at gifted services here at Gunston in our classrooms. You can find more information on the web page within the Gunston's website. There's a small picture of it there. You can find that under Advanced Academics and Talent Development. Or you can scan the QR code to take you directly to that website. Our collaborative cluster model allows students to self-enroll in our intensified courses. This is our first year for our intensified courses. We have intensified English, science, and social studies. A recommendation for the appropriate math class placement is shared with families prior to the school year. And those placements are based on the data based on test scores. Students will be clustered in groups within the intensified courses, and teachers are responsible for delivering the comprehensive services for gifted learners with ongoing coaching and support from the advanced academics coach. Here's a look at differentiation possibilities. There are 4 methods of differentiation. Teachers can differentiate based on content, process, product, or the learning environment. Here are a few ways collaboration happens. Well, this can happen as a whole group, small group. We can do some co-planning together, and the classroom teacher is the one delivering the resources with the support from me as the resource teacher. We also do flexible grouping, where we determine the grouping based on pre-assessment, the needs of our students, and the difficulty of our unit. Here is our critical and creative thinking framework. As a part of my job, I model, plan, and co-teach lessons using these strategies to raise the level of rigor in the classroom for gifted, as well as to expose all learners to challenging and engaging lessons. Now, here is a list of some of the advanced content curriculum you may see in your child's classroom. Intensified and clustered teachers are trained on these resources and implement them within their cluster group classes. These resources are available to all students, not just those that are identified as gifted. Now, looking at some of our examples, I provide that classroom support by working with teachers. And just going back to earlier, I talked about our CLT. Okay, so looking at classroom support, again, I support the classroom by working with the teachers. I work with those teachers during their collaborative learning teams or the CLT meetings, or I can meet with those teachers one-on-one to find ways to implement our advanced content. Here are some examples of some of the things that have been done so far in our English language arts class, and really just about all of our content area classes. Well, not math, but English, social studies, and science have all done this question formulation technique. And this strategy is one where students write out questions, and this helps build their questioning skills so that they ask questions for critical thinking. Some teachers have done Socratic seminar, and currently we are working with Jacob's Ladder, which is a reading comprehension type of text where questions are asked to build students' understanding. In looking at science, there are many labs that are hands-on activities. Students have to write up an observation of what they've seen in that lab. And when we look at social studies, right now we have the document-based question, or DBQs, and these are often used as summative assessments within the unit. As students go through the unit, they do use the question formulation technique to come up with those questions for critical thinking. And then on the DBQ, they're able to show and actually justify their understanding of the topics. Okay, now shifting gears to communication. Here are some methods of which I will be communicating with families. We have a differentiation report that will go out quarterly. I help teachers in helping students develop or build their digital portfolios. Those portfolios will be used this year in our parent-teacher conferences. I will have my information session, and you can find information on the web page. For more information, you can go to APS. For more information, you can go to the APS Gifted Services website listed here. This is my contact information and the Supervisor of Advanced Academics and Talent Development, Cheryl McCullough. You can also get involved in our Gifted Services Advisory Committee. Meetings happen monthly from 7 to 8:30 p.m. If you're interested in serving on this committee and or attending any of those meetings, please contact the people listed below. Here are a few organizations that support gifted education at the state and national level. Just a friendly reminder, I will hold a session about the screening and identification process in January or February. Here's a timeline of my screening process. Here is where I would ask questions, but I have some that usually come in, some frequently asked questions. Often I'm asked if my child was identified in elementary school, will they still receive services in middle school? And yes, your child's identification automatically transfers with them. If you're new to APS and your child was identified from somewhere else, yes, that identification also transfer. I would just need to see documentation from the previous school. Is my child receiving gifted services even though they aren't getting pulled out of the classroom for extensions? Well, yes, your child is receiving gifted services, and just keep in mind our teachers are trained in gifted education and they are providing the differentiation within their classrooms. I support the teachers in creating lessons, so sometimes I may be in the classroom, but it will not be a regular occurrence. Well, my child is interested in attending Thomas Jefferson High School next year. What steps should they take? This is a question I get often, and TJ requires students to be enrolled in the highest level course offered in the 8th grade. So this means students must be enrolled in our intensified ELA or English Language Arts class, the intensified science class, and the intensified math. Well, some ask, when does the identification process begin? Well, you can make a referral at any point. Parents, students, community leaders, teachers can refer a student for gifted services, and that can happen at any time. Usually the screening process happens somewhere around the springtime. This gives teachers enough time to build that portfolio to make sure we have some documentation of the student's work in class. And another question, what if I don't know what areas my child is identified in? Can I find out? Well, of course you can. All teachers would know there is an icon indicated in the gradebook, but if you don't know as a parent, you can email me and I'll be glad to help you and let you know where your child may be identified. If there are any other questions, again, please feel free in contacting me. I'll be here to support you and to support your child.